So today I'm going to be sewing some new projects. I want to make my own quilted tote bag. I made my mom one for Christmas and I think it turned out absolutely adorable. So ever since I made that, I've been wanting to make my own. I did go ahead and pick out some fabric. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, but I think it'll be cute. I want to do pink. It's my favorite color if you couldn't tell. But I think this will be really pretty. I didn't have any plans with this one and I got this fabric for Valentine's and I think it'll be nice and subtle and just very pretty. That's gonna be our first project. I'm also very excited for the next two products we're gonna be making in this video. They're brand new, I've never made them before and just trying something new. So let's go ahead and cut out this fabric. I'm gonna be doing Nina's how to make a quilted tote bag tutorial. I'm also gonna be filming a short while I make this. Okay. Okay, we'll save that for the pockets. So I'm cutting this at 13 by 17. I think Nina does like 13.5 or like 17.7, kind of very specific measurements. So if you want to pull up a tutorial, then definitely go for it. But I think 13 by 17 is going to be just fine. If you saw my last video, then you know I upgraded to the Ofra rotary cutter. So far, I'm really liking this one. So far, one of my favorite things about this rotary cutter is that it's an automatic release. So I don't have to worry about hitting the button to bring the blade back in. So I can just roll it, let go, and it brings the blade in. So I don't have to worry about knocking it over and wounding myself. I always cut it a little bit bigger at the beginning. This is still about 14.5. So we're going to cut it down. I bought a giant roll of extra loft polyfill and it's honestly way too big, but I'm gonna be using this to quilt the tote bag. I will say I'm loving these Fiskars scissors. They're nice and sharp. They cut the batting really well, fabric really well. So I do highly recommend these. Okay. Before I do this, of course, I need to iron out this fabric, but before I do that, I want to cut the inner fabric in the pockets. That way everything's cut out and I can put this away and start ironing. Okay, so the pocket's going to be pretty big. I would do one of those like center compartments, but that might be a little advanced, maybe for a future tote bag, because obviously this will not be my last one. I want to make a whole bunch. So I think I'm gonna do about 6.5. And we got 8.5. I always misplace my stuff. It gets covered up by all the fabric. Okay, so once that's all like sewn together and stuff, I want to make sure there's plenty of room for it to go in there. So I think we're gonna do that. Okay, I pulled up Nina's dimensions. So the straps are 3.5 by 25 inches. I also don't want to forget to do the little tie strings at the top to close the tote bag. And the full tutorial is called DIY Quilted Tote Bag Sewing Tutorial Beginner Friendly. That was not easy, but I got it and my fingers are incredibly cramped now. That was very difficult, but I don't know what I was thinking. I was just following the measurements on hers, not realizing that I wanted to switch it up and do it the other way. So yeah, but I made it work. For the first tote bag I made, the one I made for my mom, I did the diamond quilting and I think it looks really nice. So I'm gonna do that one with this. It is a lot more time consuming, but I love the way it turns out. And all the flowers are kind of diagonal. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that and get all the quilting done and give myself a little break from the straps. Outer pieces are quilted. I'm ready to sew on the pocket. I've messed up so much today. I don't know what is happening. So the pocket's not looking great. I had to seam rip the entire thing and start over. I was just doing things all wrong. So we're just gonna make it all work and go ahead and sew it on. I've messed up so many times today. My brain is just not working. First, of course, I think I told you, I sewed the inner and outer pieces completely together and messed that all up. Then I started sewing the pocket opening directly onto this fabric here. So then you couldn't even use the pocket. And I'm like, what am I doing? My brain is not working today. So hopefully all the rest of it will go well. It's not looking the greatest. The pocket's looking real rough because I just kept messing up. You all might even be watching me and thinking, what in the world are you doing? Not to mention I messed up the strap. So the sides and this bottom closed, then we can close up these seams right here. So let's get that done. Finished the tote bag. I really struggled today. I don't know, my mind was just not there. I messed up so many times. I messed up on the pocket. I completely forgot the tie ribbon. Just a lot of mess ups, but I do think it still turned out pretty cute. I think what I'll do is get one of those little magnetic clasp to put right here, that way I can keep it closed. And also the pocket's really floppy, so I need to figure out some different things to do with like the pockets and stuff, and it would help if I didn't mess up so bad. But here is my second quilted tote bag. I also made the pocket a little bit too big, so it's going all the way down to the bottom, but yeah, I do think it's still pretty cute, and I will of course use it. It is the next day, so we're ready for our next project. So with the tote bag, even though I messed up a ton, I do think it still turned out pretty cute, and I'm happy with the overall result. I love the diamond stitching. I think it looks so nice. So next time, I think I want to try sewing a tote bag with a thicker and more like stable fabric. So maybe like a canvas or something like that. But overall, I'm really happy with the result on that. For our next project, I'm very excited. It's going to be my first ever bottoms. So I'm following Rosary's shorts pattern. I will link the YouTube video down below in the description, and the pattern is free on her website. So we're going to be using this. I'm very excited. The only thing I'm not going to be doing is the pockets, because I don't really care if my pajama pants have pockets. So I will be skipping that part, but let's go ahead and put this pattern together. If you're gonna follow the same pattern, it does have the pocket cut out right here. So if you want to add pockets to yours, then you definitely can. is all together. So for the sizing, we have 4, 6 through 8, 10 to 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22, 24. So I think I'm gonna do 8. I'm kind of hover around 8 to 10. So I'm gonna do 6 to 8 for the sizing. Okay, I was supposed to not cut out the little triangle notches, that way I could line those up, but those are gone. So, okay, I have all of this pinned together, so she says to go ahead and sew right along here around this curve. So I'm gonna do that. Hopefully this turns out okay. So for my first pair of shorts, I'm actually really happy with how they turned out. I want to make a bunch more. The only differences I would do with the pattern is possibly take an inch or 2 out lengthwise. There's a lot of fabric in the midsection and they are super, super high-waisted, which I normally do like high-waisted, but they're coming up about 1.5 inches from my belly button, so very high-waisted. So I'd probably take maybe an inch or so off of the length. But yeah, otherwise super easy pattern to follow, and I can't wait to make more. I think I'll also use a different type of fabric next time. There is no give to this fabric whatsoever, so I'd probably use maybe a little bit stretchier or just like a little softer cotton. But otherwise, I'm very happy with how these turned out and excited to make more pairs of bottoms. And for my first ever bottoms, very happy with the result. So I have one final project. I want to make a Kindle sleeve. So similar to my book sleeves, but I want to make one with a zipper, which I have not tried yet. I actually don't have a Kindle. I use an iPad Air for all of my Kindle reading. So I want to make something for that with a zipper to keep it nice and protected. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make that for the final project. So for the fabric, so I have this one that I'm very excited to try out, but I kind of want to save this for a makeup bag. I think with like the bows and ribbons and stuff, that could be really cute for that project, which I want to do very soon. I think I'm going to use this fabric with the fabric I used on my tote bag with the greens and the pink, which matches the green leaves, and of course the pink on that. So I'm going to do with this because I'm going to be carrying it around in the tote bag, and I think that will look matchy-matchy and really cute with that. So we'll use this for the outer and then for the inner inside, as I did on the inside for the tote, because this pink matches the polka dots on that fabric. Okay, here's my iPad Air, and it is already 5:15, so I'm gonna try and hurry. If I don't finish this today, we'll finish up in the morning, but this fits actually really well in my small book sleeves, so I think I'm just gonna cut it to that, and then I'll have to pull up a tutorial for how to install the zipper. finished quilting the 2 outer pieces last night and then I lost light. So we're ready to finish it up today. I went ahead and cut my zipper out. I need to put the hardware on. I have Blush Designs Co. tutorial on in the background, so if I need it to kind of help walk me through so I don't forget anything. So yeah, I went ahead and cut this longer than my outer piece, which is different than I've done before. I usually, like the 3 other projects I've done zippers on, I've done the zipper little like pulls, zipper tabs, whatever they are. It doesn't look like that's what she's doing, at least not yet. So I'm just gonna follow along. We'll see how it turns out. But I need to go ahead and put the hardware on my zipper, then I'll be ready to sew it on the first piece. I got my zipper foot attachment on. So I just want to make sure everything is nice and flat. So I am going to iron out this top edge just to make sure, like I said, it all stays nice and flat when I'm sewing the next pieces on. Okay, I'm ready to top stitch along my zipper. I think I'm gonna go ahead and change my foot back to my normal foot. My first Kindle or book sleeve with a zipper is complete. I definitely had some mess ups. The first thing, I forgot to cut the extra zipper portions off on both sides so you can feel it in here, and that may be a reason why the zipper does not look great. It could also just be because I'm not very good at zippers. Another thing, it barely fits my iPad Air, and that is due to the zipper. So this has happened to me on pretty much all of my zipper projects, is I get a lot of bunching right here in the corner. How to make that look a little bit nicer, I really just want it to be nice and flat. And I also don't know that I'm wild about being able to actually see the zipper like that. I think I would prefer it if the zipper was a little more hidden. So I need to figure out how to do that as well. And yeah, I need to practice a lot with zippers. I think this is only my 4th project that I've done a zipper on, and I really struggle with it. So in the next coming months, I'm gonna be practicing a ton on zippers. So you'll be seeing a lot of different projects that have this, and hopefully I will get better. I'm gonna be watching a ton of tutorials and just figure out how I can make the corners look nicer and maybe how to hide the actual zipper portion. I have to kind of wiggle it to get it through the zipper portion because that's really the only part that it doesn't really want to go in. But otherwise, it holds my iPad Air and it looks really cute with the tote bag. This is giving like major spring. So I really love that, and I hope you enjoyed watching me sew some new projects, making another quilted tote bag. So I'll see you in my next video very soon. Bye!